The candle on that small wooden table kept trembling, like it was fighting to stay lit, and honestly, it felt a lot like the fight going on inside me. It was Christmas Eve, the kind of night when laughter usually spills out of rooms and families pulling close. But there I was, sitting alone with my hands folded, my eyes tired, and my shoulders bowed under years of regret I couldn't shake. Outside, snow pressed softly against the windows, glowing blue beneath the streetlights. While inside that quiet little space, the silence felt heavier than any crowded room ever had. Before I go any further, let me say this. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that a single moment can change a life, take a second to like this video. Share it with someone who might need a little hope tonight. Subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. My name is Daniel Hayes, and for a long time, the world only knew me as a hell angel, the kind of man people crossed the street to avoid. Tattoos wrapped around my arms like permanent reminders of choices I couldn't undo, no matter how much time passed. Back then, I thought being strong meant never feeling pain, never letting anyone see weakness, never allowing anyone close enough to hurt you. Life corrected me on that belief, slowly and cruelly. The club became my family when my real one fell apart. I lost friends to roads that never forgave mistakes, lost brothers to violence, and lost the woman I loved most because I never learned how to love her gently. Christmas Eve always hurt the worst, because it showed me exactly what normal people had, and exactly what I had thrown away. That night, I wasn't waiting for anyone. I honestly didn't believe anyone was coming for me anymore. The small roadside cafe was warm but nearly silent, dressed up with simple string lights and faded ornaments that looked like they'd been hanging there for decades. I came to that same cafe every Christmas Eve after leaving the club, always choosing the same table, ordering the same coffee, pretending the night was just another night like any other. I told myself it was better to be alone than to be disappointed again. Better to expect nothing than to hope for something that never showed up. My thoughts drifted backward, to the son I never got to raise, the birthdays I missed, and the apologies I waited too long to say. The weight of it all pressed down on my chest, until even breathing felt like work. Then the bell above the door rang softly, cutting straight through my thoughts. Cold air rushed in first, followed by a woman and a young girl. The woman's coat was too thin for the weather, her hair pulled back neatly, like she was holding her life together through careful effort alone. The little girl, maybe 8 or 9, wore a red coat that looked a size too small and gloves that didn't quite match. They paused just inside the doorway, brushing snow off their boots, their eyes scanning the room with hesitation. I noticed them without meaning to. I always noticed people who looked like they didn't quite belong anywhere, because once upon a time, that had been me. The woman's name was Laura Bennett. She was a single mother who survived by planning every step ahead. That night, her car had broken down miles away, and this cafe was the only light she'd seen in the darkness. She wasn't looking for help, just warmth and a few quiet minutes to let her daughter rest. Her daughter, Sophie, clutched her hand tightly, her eyes full of curiosity and that quiet sadness kids carry when they understand more than adults realize. Laura counted the cash in her pocket before ordering, already bracing herself in case it wasn't enough. I watched from my corner, telling myself to look away. I didn't want reminders of families, of mothers protecting their children, of little girls who deserved fathers who actually showed up. But something about Sophie's careful steps and the way Laura smiled through exhaustion stirred something deep inside me. It wasn't pity. It was recognition. I knew what it felt like to carry responsibility alone, to pretend you weren't breaking because someone else depended on you. As the minutes passed, the cafe settled into a shared stillness. Snow fell harder outside, and the warm lights inside reflected softly against the windows. Sophie kept glancing toward the small Christmas tree in the corner, its ornaments uneven and imperfect, but glowing all the same. Laura noticed, gently brushing snow from her daughter's hair, trying to make the moment feel special despite everything that had gone wrong. That's when the ache hit my chest, sharp and unexpected. Memories of holding my own child for the first time came rushing back, unwanted and painful. I stood up slowly, every movement careful, afraid the moment would break if I moved too fast. I didn't walk over like a biker or a stranger. I walked over like a man who was finally done hiding. I paid for their food quietly, leaving more than enough to cover what they needed, then returned to my table without saying a word. Laura didn't realize until later, when the waitress gently pointed it out. Her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide from Sophie. Something shifted after that, not loudly, not dramatically, but in a way that mattered. Sophie smiled for the first time that evening, a real smile that reached her eyes. Laura looked around the cafe with a gratitude she hadn't expected to feel from a stranger. I sat back down, my heart racing, unsure why such a small act felt heavier than any road I'd ever ridden. I told myself it didn't change anything. Deep down, I knew it had. When Laura gathered their things to leave, the snow had piled high outside, the roads looked dangerous, and fear crept back into her chest. That's when I offered to help, using my old truck, the one that had survived more winters than I could count. I didn't promise miracles, just a safe ride to a nearby shelter where they could stay warm for the night. Trust didn't come easily to her, but something in my tired eyes told her I wasn't a threat. Sometimes you recognize goodness not by how loud it is, but by how quietly it shows up. That ride changed all of us. For Sophie, it restored her belief that Christmas could still be kind. For Laura, it reminded her that asking for nothing didn't mean receiving nothing. And for me, it cracked open a door I'd sealed shut years ago. I realized redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about choosing differently when the moment shows up. Christmas morning found me alone again, but this time, I wasn't empty. For the first time in a long while, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I still had something good left to give the world. And if this story settled into your heart at all, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and leave a comment to let us know you felt it too. Before the ending, we have one small request. Comment the word hope if you believe even the most broken hearts can find their way back to the light. That Christmas Eve didn't fix my life, but it saved it. And sometimes, that's more than enough.